The three major building blocks for thinking about the evolution of behavior in the framework of contemporary evolutionary thinking. Number one, individual selection. Passing on as many copies of your own gene to the next generation as possible by way of your own reproducing. The individual selection, a chicken is an egg's way to make another egg. I've now rehearsed that, so I've got that down right. The whole notion of behavior as just being this epiphenomenon in order to do what's needed to get another copy of the genes into the next generation. Building block number two. Some of the time, the best way to increase the number of genes you pass on to the next generation is to help your relatives do so. Following that logic of Mendelian relatedness, and people in the catch-up section I know went over issues of why is it that you share half your genes with a full sibling, a quarter with a half sibling, etc. So sometimes the way to maximize is by helping out a relative to do so with, again, constraint by this vicious mathematical logic of it depends on how related you are to the relative. And thus you will gladly lay down your life for one identical twin, two full siblings, 8 cousins, off you go. So the whole notion there of insight into why social animals the galaxy over are so obsessed with kinship and relatedness, the whole world of who counts as an us, who counts as a them in terms of cooperative behaviors playing out along lines of relatedness. Finally, we saw the third piece, which was reciprocal altruism. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Many hands make the task less scratchy or whatever. And what you see in those cases there is a whole world in which you don't have to be related to have cooperation. And we saw all the domains of that, bringing in the formalization, biomechanics person figuring out how strong a leg bone has to be, a game theorist figuring out within the realm of social behavior when you cooperate, when you don't, what sort of strategies. Game theory of seeing the prisoner's dilemma as the building block of that entire field, and seeing all the strategies worked out by mathematicians and economists and diplomats, and seeing which ones optimize under what circumstance, and then going and look in the real world and seeing there's all sorts of animals out there that have evolved optimization strategies of when to cooperate and when to defect.